B2B e-commerce and change management. So often when me and Niklas talk about B2B e-commerce, it's very like IT related and features and development. And that's maybe it gives a little bit the wrong impression. And I think this is also something that happens in the companies. This is seen like an IT thing, but actually it requires a lot of change management in the organization. So should we make some examples? So let's start with customer support. What about that?
Yeah, it usually involves a lot of the different touch points with customers. Customer support being one that's easy to identify. And some of the changes you need to do is customer support usually gets a lot of
orders that they should handle.
Exactly. And they will get different, perhaps more qualified, they will get another type of questions in customer support when you implement these changes. So that's a huge potential for change in customer support.
Yeah.
And also sales is a key area in most of these projects, because sales will also be, they can be an important ambassador for the project, but it's also some concern from sales, since will we get to keep our sales commissions? So it's important to have an understanding that there is a huge change in the organization.
Yeah, and I think, and this differs between companies. In some companies, the salespeople are like the ones that really takes the orders, and you want to change that with e-commerce online. You want to change that so that they work like more strategically with their customers, and the order taking is done online, so they can add more value for the customers.
Especially with recurring orders that are perhaps for spare parts and other things, and the new customers, which perhaps you can take the strategic meetings with the sales rep, and you can take the online parts, automate some of the recurring orders.
Yeah. Another area where it usually is change management is really like the intertwine between business and IT. That is the customer setup, meaning how have you set up the customer in the ERP system? So some companies has like, when they place an order, we actually manually manipulate the prices to be correct on the invoice. And that's typically what you cannot do if you're doing it online. Then you have to make sure that the correct prices are in the systems. Typically how you set them up, like who is the head company and what are the daughter companies. And if there are manual work, if you don't have e-commerce, you usually have quite some manual work to fulfill the agreements, like the payment terms that you manually add to the invoice. But if you start doing this online, you really have to get all that in the systems. So usually there's a change management part on how you set up the customers.
With roles and tasks in job as well, because if you do it manually, there's also a huge risk for deviations, and sometimes Helena does the invoicing and she knows that this customer should have 10% manually, but one time Helena is on vacation and then I do it and then everything breaks. So it's important.
And what I think most important when it comes to change management, and Niklas already mentioned this, is to get promoters in the organization. This cannot be a push from like the headquarters or top management. It has to be taken out in the organization, if that now is your market or your sales rep, but you have to make sure you get some promoters that kind of stand up for this, because when it comes to IT, it's so easy to always say, well, if I don't get this button, I'm not going to do it. And there's always a reason to not go live because there's a button or a checkbox missing. So you need promoters that actually stand up and help you roll it out, because you can't do it from the ivory tower in the headquarters. Yeah?
Excellent. Thank you.